Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across me is the one and only Cash Krause. But before we begin, if you guys could please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. So with that said, Cash, what are we reviewing today?
Today we are reviewing, well, it's a Christmas movie. We don't have anything Christmas in here at all.
We don't. We have literally nothing Christmas.
You would have no idea of knowing that this was filmed in December.
Yeah.
But it is a Christmas film. But yeah, we are doing another throwback, a little throwback theater this week.
Yes, sir.
We've been doing some older ones.
And I love it. I love old film.
I know. We've been having a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, I've gained a respect for it that I didn't have, like, I think before starting this podcast. I used to never go back and watch old film.
Yeah.
But now I find myself doing it quite a bit.
It's cool going back and seeing, like, how everyone is doing what they used to do, but it was groundbreaking at the time. You know, especially with this film, as it's quoted usually as the first slasher film, but it's the stuff that's done in this film is done in every slasher film now. But it's cool to go see when it was brand new, and yeah. So we are doing, if you didn't figure it out, Black Christmas, 1974. Not a traditional Christmas movie, I would say.
I would say not. No,
it's because it is a horror Christmas film, but I love the combination of horror and Christmas. Love Gremlins.
I was just about to Gremlins, which we did review the Gremlins a few years ago.
During Christmas time as well,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, love Gremlins. Love Krampus, which we have also done, I think.
No, we have not, and I've yet to see it.
God.
Every single year we talk about doing Krampus, and I've waited for this podcast every December,
literally,
and we have yet to review it.
When I was looking for movies to do, like, because we couldn't really figure out what we were going to review this week, so we wanted to throw back. I was thinking, every time I look at Krampus, I think, oh, we already did that.
Nope. We have not.
We need to do that thing, because I love
we can always
Krampus.
Do that next weekend. You know, obviously we got Spider-Man, No Way Home, but for another throwback. It's not really a throwback because it was made a few years ago, but we could definitely do that as another review.
Yeah, it's one
I want to see.
It's one we never got the chance to. Yeah, no. So I love Krampus, so we'll definitely, again, a really good mix of Christmas and horror. But Black Christmas, let's get back to it, 1974, directed by Bob Clark. That name might sound a little familiar if you love Christmas films.
Yes, A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
And what a strike contrast between the two films, I might have had.
Yeah, pretty good director, but yeah, two definitely different movies, but Christmas Story must have set him up for life because they play that 24 hours on Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah,
so he must have been doing pretty good just from A Christmas Story. But
well, he passed away in 2007.
Tragically, in a car accident. But he was not, not to drag his name through the mud, but he was not directing good things by the time he directed one
Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2.
That's regarded as one of the worst movies of all time,
for sure.
And that's a movie I saw in theaters. Yeah,
that's rough.
And even as like an 8-year-old seeing that in theaters, I thought, oh my God, this is a giant pile of stinky shit. But but he did direct. He directed this, which again is like one of the first slashers film. It came out in 1974. Before Halloween, and you could tell this film definitely influenced John Carpenter and Halloween, but came out the same year as Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, interesting. Yes, the original.
1974. Yep. So it goes back and forth of which one is the original, but really there's giallo films where Italian slashers came years before this also. But the first Western one for sure, and it... like I said, it does a lot that we see today in slashers. Like, this is the first film, technically for a slasher, to do the POV of the slasher.
Yeah.
And then that, of course, was made really famous by John Carpenter.
And I got to say, back in the 70s, I thought for what they had and for obviously completely experimenting with this idea of kind of firsthand account, POV, I thought they did pretty well. Some of those shots, like him slowly climbing up the side of the house, I actually liked a lot. And they did that better than a lot of other films that I see try to attempt a POV.
Well, it's weird to say it could even call this film a slasher because it's I mean, it has what makes up a slasher, but it's not like most slashers where it's got teens. If you don't know, it's set during Christmas time, and it's based off like the urban legend of the babysitter and the guy calling from inside the house. But yeah, it's got teens, but these teens aren't like teens you see in slashers. They aren't just there to be killed. They're actually written pretty well, and they're not nude the entire time. They're never nude.
Not nude one time.
And that's the thing in slasher films where that's all teens do is fucking get killed in slasher films. And they are brain dead. They are making single good choice. Yeah. So I don't, and like I said, influenced John Carpenter because John Carpenter did the exact same thing where he wrote teens like teens and not like meatbags. And Bob Clark did the exact same thing. And I read he specifically came out and said he wanted to write them like realistic teenagers. And I thought they do a really good job. Although the people pretty old for teenagers.
They were pretty old.
Even 70s. They were like pretty old.
Because they were supposed to portray, first year freshmen in college at a sorority.
One of the teens, I can't remember which actress it was, but was 36, I believe.
Yeah. And I think I could tell you which one it was.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think it was pretty apparent.
Some of them were like 22 and 23. I can't remember who exactly, but yeah, like you said, a little dated for sure, but the killer, I've seen this film a few times, but the killer always scares me a lot. Like, it's a very realistic portrayal of a psychopath.
Deranged person.
Oh my God. Those phone calls are horrifying.
Yes,
and they feel very real.
Especially the first phone call when he's like, you little piggy cunt. And I'm like, oh.
And one of the first mainstream films to ever use the C word. People
I was shocked by that. I go, damn, this was the 70s.
Surprised it wasn't rated X. Yeah. I mean, or NC-17 or something, but no nudity. No one cares. No. As long as you don't show a tit.
Of course.
People can get killed, slaughtered, say the C word, anything. Do whatever you want. Just don't show any of that nudity.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I've always, the killer is a really, really well done killer. And like you said, it's commonplace in every slasher film to not really know who the killer is. But this one is the first person, is you never get any instance at all of who the killer is.
Or any backstory to who like Agnes was or anything like that. You know, these weird names and Billy that he's bringing up and he's doing all these voices. Where's the baby? Where's the baby?
Doing multiple voices, yeah. That's another cool thing is his voice, the killer, was voiced by 3 different people. Even a lady at one point voices him. So it really makes it sound like this guy has split personality, or some kind of personality disorder.
And obviously, not to go off the rails here, but there's this documentary that just dropped on Netflix not too long ago. It's Billy Milligan. He's the guy with 24 personalities in the 70s who was the college campus rapist, and then like they did a bunch of stories and stuff, and then like did a lot of studies, and he had 24 split personalities. It's a 4-parter on Netflix. But I wonder if that would not have inspired that, because now that I'm thinking about it, that was from 75 to 77.
Yeah, no, nothing inspired this film, but there was murders in Quebec or Montreal that Bob Clark knew about. That's pretty much it. Other than that, he said it was completely an original story. Yeah. Even the whole, I mean, we've seen it done so many times of the killer calling from inside the house, but that urban legend itself was like 2 years old at the point of this, of filming this. I mean, so it's a good original script for sure. And like I said, the killer is horrifying. They don't go, like those early slashers, they don't go full on bloody and disgusting. They keep it pretty subdued with the kills.
Yeah, I would say so. I say the most gruesome one, but the thing is calling it gruesome is kind of different because they would do a lot of the kills off screen.
Yeah.
So like The Hook with Mrs. Whatever her name is. The house mother, yeah. And then The Hook.
I loved she had alcohol hidden
everywhere.
Remember every room she went in?
She's pulling up the string. So funny.
I thought that was this film does, like I said, it's really well written. There is some really funny parts in there, but I thought that was so funny. Yeah. And then that's a good kill. That hook kill is a good kill still, even though it is happening off screen. It's a good kill.
Well, there's also an element of like a horrifying experience when obviously the first girl that he kills suffocates her with a bag. And like then he's like, rocking her in the chair and like, saying, "Hi, baby."
He's really deranged.
He really is. And then obviously when Mrs. Whatever, the house mom, was hung up on there and she's just hanging on the hook the whole time. There are some very creepy elements, especially for the 70s, dude, where this probably fucked with a lot of people back then.
Oh, yeah. And I love, again, I'll go back to it, but I love the fact that you're not trying to connect, like, who's this guy and what's his connection to everyone else? Is there going to be some huge underlying story? It's just, again, it's the Halloween thing where it's the randomness makes it so scary that this guy can just come into your house at any time and kill everyone.
It's a great point because that's what the audience members feel too when they watch a film like this, because it's the randomness. That could literally happen to anyone.
Yeah, and
that's what's terrifying.
Yeah, and at a safe place like a college or in the suburbs or any place, it's that's the scariest part.
Now, question: did the serial killer kill that high school girl that they found in the river? Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
I think he was killing everyone.
Yeah,
he tore her apart, too. So
Yeah.
they said her body was mangled.
I was expecting a body shot or something where we would see the dead body. Never got it. Just some horrific screams and some...
I know, yeah. Where the police in this film are just very 1970s police, for sure. The whole tracking phone call method is insane. You got to get some guy at the phone company. Yeah. It's very different.
However, I thought they did a really good job with the lead detective in this, that he wasn't some idiot who didn't believe these girls and was like, I know what I'm doing. It was actually really
played by John Saxon, an awesome actor who would go on to star in another slasher franchise, but Nightmare on Elm Street. He is the detective in Nightmare on Elm Street. That's his most famous role. I know him from Enter the Dragon because he plays opposite Bruce Lee in that. He was a badass. He was in a lot of movies. He just died last year too, John Saxon. Yeah.
Oh, that's
2020. Sad. But he had a couple cameos in later Nightmare on Elm Street films too. But he did I want to say he was in over 60 films or something.
Jeez.
He did a lot. But yeah.
Born in 1936 too, so lived a very full life.
Yeah, he was 80-something when he died, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. A lot of people will go in to star in other slashers from this film as well.
His resting place is Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's interesting.
It's another Bruce Lee connection because Bruce Lee's resting place is in Seattle, Washington. Yeah. Must have been pretty good friends. But he's awesome in this. He's a pretty grounded detective for sure. It's everyone else around him.
Yes. So the other guys that are dumb.
The fellatio joke that they keep going back to.
So funny. The guy just didn't
in
get
1974, that was the funniest fucking thing.
But what had me dying laughing was the cop right next to him who's just busting
that guy
up
can't
laughing.
stop. He can't hold it together.
It was good acting, though, because I felt that laugh was genuine because that guy was freaking out.
Well, all of the acting is good. They're all good actors. It's not again, it's not like hiring teens because they look sexy or whatever. It's getting people in there that are good actors. The guy who plays Peter, Keir Dullea, he's from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh,
Sandy Kubrick. Yeah, so he's a big time actor, and that was after Space Odyssey was before this too. So there must have been something to the script that a lot of people liked. But there's a lot of good actors. Peter, we can talk about him. I guess we dropped it in there, but he's the red herring of the killer. Yeah.
Well, even the detective started to kind of
he's a psychopath.
Sniff the scent. Yeah, he's a weird guy. And I'm sorry, but that was the only problem where I was like, what the fuck? She's in the basement, and then Peter's like, are you down here?
Yeah, breaks the window.
Breaks the window. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, the entire precursor was that Peter was a little off for sure. Remember, he destroys a piano for little to no reason at all.
None at all. Just smashes it. He's going through a lot.
And I get it. This chick does not want to have a kid with you. You don't want me linked with this guy for the rest of your goddamn life.
She's probably like, why did I start dating this guy in college? Not a good idea.
And then I let him get me pregnant? No. I fucked up bad. Yeah. But he's the one you're supposed to think might be. But they lead on very early that he can't be the killer because he was there when they were getting
the phone calls, yeah.
So
she, as scared as she was, because he broke the window and he's like doing this.
I mean but he was threatening her through that entire thing. Yeah.
So you're back here. Where are you? And I'm like, what is going on? This guy's creepy.
And you kind of you go back and forth because the killer talks about on the phone call, he brings up the baby, which you can only assume, unless you knew he was coming from inside the house, you can only assume that the only one that would have known that would have been Peter.
Yep.
But yeah, and who has a phone in the attic, by the way?
Not quite sure. A phone, a full-blown window, a hook.
A pulley system.
Yeah. There was a lot up in that attic, I tell you.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, there was a lot of good kills. I like the plastic bag over the head and then keep going back to her. The camera work is really good in this.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of experimental shots too, with the side close up, with kind of a blurred background with people at Christmas and whatnot. I do appreciate that, especially seeing it, for one of the first times in film back in the, early 70s.
Yeah, it was really well shot. I like another kill of him killing the girl with the ice pick or whatever it was.
Which the first thing I was thinking is, who the fuck has a glass pick like that? But those were actually like collectibles back then in the 70s.
Yeah, that was a statue. I can't remember what they are, but it was like a set of things or whatever. At first, I thought it was an ice cube that he broke off, which is the perfect crime because the weapon melts.
Yeah,
I brought it up multiple times, people. If you're gonna kill someone,
do it with an
icicle for sure. But yeah, I like that kill too. You especially how the entire film was up to that. You weren't sure how much it was going to show, and it doesn't show it go in the body or whatever, but it shows a good amount. The camera spins around, and it's kind of blurred by a mirror, a pane of window glass, or something like that. But it's a pretty good kill.
Yeah, it is.
He really goes into her.
He does. She got the brunt end of that, unfortunately. A lot of people died a little bit better than
I know. I gotta say the suffocation might have been the best one. The
I would
bag.
say so. You go out and you just don't wake up.
Simple. Yep. So simple. But yeah, good kills in that. In any slasher film, it's always about the kills. Mm-hmm. But this one's got a good story to it as well. And it's Christmas. It's not the most Christmas film in the world. Like at some points you forget that it is during Christmas time, but they bring you back with the carolers and stuff like that. I like the scene with the carolers when they're singing too. And that's when he's killing her, I believe. Yeah.
Well, that's what I liked about this. Slasher films these days, I would say majority of them, they sacrifice script for the kills, right? But I felt like this one, I thought the characters were written, really well. I thought all the girls, as we brought up, were good actresses. But Mrs. Mack is her name. I loved that element as well. I absolutely loved her. She was kind of the comedic relief for me because, remember that dress?
Yeah.
And she goes, I wouldn't give up I wouldn't get a new liver for this dress. Ever wear this dress?
And she needed a new liver because of all the alcohol
she was consuming.
Right. So that was kind of a
also when that guy comes up the stairs and she's calling her cat a little bitch or something like that. I forget, but he's like,
or what about the guys doing the because they're all searching for Carol or whatever her name is. Remember, she's the first one. Yeah, she was the first one dead. She got suffocated. Her dad comes immediately, starts looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember where I was going.
What, the two creepers with one with the gun at the window, so hello,
scared, banging on and the girls, rightfully so, good writing. They're shitting themselves.
They're freaked out, dude.
And the guys are trying to get in to the girls are like, well, we'd normally invite you in. And the guy's
our dog just died.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we wouldn't want to.
And there's a killer on the loose. Yes. So we're not going to just invite anyone, but it just felt very Canadian to me.
It was funny, though, because the girls were trying not to laugh that whole time, too.
Yeah.
And then they shut the door and said, I'd rather have the killer here. Oh, would you?
Would you? One floor up.
Yeah, sorry, Barb, you're about to go.
Yeah, the thing sucks about going to and watching these films is, like we said, this film obviously influenced so many other films. We just kind of know what's going to happen now. I would love to go back and see this in 1974 for the first time because that reveal or that moment when they tell the main character that he's in the house or whatever, that must have been like a holy shit. Right, it must have been really fucking scary to know that. But we're so conditioned to it by now.
I know.
How many times have you seen a babysitter get murdered in your life?
So many times. More than I can count on all my fillets.
Yeah, all your digis. But to go back, I'm sure in 1974, this was shocking for sure. Especially when Psycho came out in 1960, and that was kind of the first. They were saying that was kind of the first slasher.
Yeah.
And really, slasher wasn't even a term that was coined at this point. But
can you believe they also made this film for just a little over $500,000? That's it, $620,000. Yes, understandably, it was 50 years ago, so money is worth. It's obviously a lot more, but still, $500,000 is very impressive.
I think inflation. It's about $3 million,
right?
which is still an incredibly small budget, even today's standards. It's a really small budget, but it went on with inflation to gross like $29 million or something. So it
just at the
pretty
box
successful.
office, it crushed. It got $4.1 million at the box office.
Yeah,
which is 8 times the money, roughly 7-8 times. So
yeah. So in today's, it was made for $3 million, and it made around $29 million, which is exactly about 3 times. But yeah, or 8 times.
8 times.
Yeah. Pretty decent return on that.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So I got to talk about the end, because this was so frustrating for me, because all the writing's really good in this, and I found myself enjoying it quite a bit. But look, this girl just had something traumatic happen. She just killed Peter, her boyfriend, who she thought was a slasher, and then everyone's like, "Well, we're gonna tuck you right into bed, and
in the same
house." Yeah.
Is this house not a crime scene?
That's literally what I said to my wife. I said, this house is a crime scene. Well, then you see the camera slowly pan over, and it's panned over to the room with the mattress with blood all over it. I'm like, this is a crime scene.
Not only that, but they know multiple murders happened here. They know the guy was in the house the entire time. You think they would have at least looked through
the house.
Every room.
Right.
Once. Do a once over.
Even go into the attic.
Dude, look everywhere.
Not only that, but you still have missing bodies. You still have missing people.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that was I was like, whoa.
Although the thing is, though, that no one knew those people were missing or dead. No one knew the house mom was missing.
Right,
Remember,
she said,
leaving.
I'm going to go to my sister's for Christmas.
Yeah, people were still looking for that other girl, Carol or whatever. And but still.
Yeah.
I get it's a big house.
But just
split up.
Just take shifts, take different hallways. It's not that big of a house.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll take 5 minutes to go through every room. But and then like not taking her to the hospital either immediately.
There's some trauma there, maybe some PTSD.
It is 1974 though.
It is.
So.
They didn't know what that stuff was. PTS who? I don't know. I don't know.
It was witchcraft back then. Yeah.
Look, we're in Nam.
You got demons in your head?
Yeah. No.
They would have sent her away.
Oh, we would have got an Exorcist, a spinoff.
Yeah. So I agree, though it is, and they just leave her in the room too. All right, we'll see you later.
All right, well, we'll check in on you. I don't know, tomorrow or something. I don't know. We got a busy day, but
there's been a slaughtering happening in this house.
I don't know why you'd ever let her sleep in that house.
Imagine waking up as her and you're still in the same
the house. You feel like you're in a bad dream, dude.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Why did these people think this was a good idea?
The only thing that would have been worse if they like put her up to sleep in the attic.
That would have been the worst. Yeah, the worst, which I wouldn't put it past these knuckleheads.
I know. But yeah, I like the scene. Again, there's them not showing the killer, ever not showing him fully is it's a risky choice, especially at the time. But
the eyes were awesome because the eyes looked so deranged, so psychopathic.
Well, even that scene when they're like, okay, walk out the fucking door and don't turn around. And then she like immediately, I love that zoom in shot of like her looking up at the stairs, just knowing, oh, he's right up there.
Yep.
She still goes up there.
She does. And she's screaming the names of her friends, but it's like, dude, I know you're a good person. You want to check on them.
She's a great person.
But they're dead.
So it makes her a great final girl. She's looking out for everyone.
She is.
But herself. But yeah, I love the scene of him just his hand reaching out or whatever. And that's the only part you see in that scene. And then her slamming it on his hand.
Yep.
But then her running downstairs and him grabbing her over the fucking head. It's the right way to go. Because again, no reveal would have been worth it. Just like the reveal of Michael Myers. It's never going to be worth it.
No.
The fear of the unknown is the greatest fear, and knowing that this guy is just out there doing this to how many other people is frightening.
Well, it's very frightening, especially when she locks that door and he's banging on it, but he's making like animal sounds, like.
I know,
I'm
yeah.
Like, jeez, bro.
Well, I thought for sure he's going right through that door.
So did I. That little lock wasn't going to hold me.
No.
I'd have broke right
Held him.
through that.
He gave right up.
Yeah, he just slowly walked away. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Again, it's one of the best writing of a psychopath that I've seen ever. It's just, I don't know. It makes me feel. It honestly reminds me of like the calls of like other real serial killers calling and taunting their victims or whatever. But this was way before we got a lot of that stuff. Yeah. So it's good writing.
It is.
Bob Clark, I don't know how he did it. He must have went to a psych ward for a couple of days or something.
I would say so.
Because it's again, it's very authentic. Interesting enough, though, shooting this, so when the actors were getting the phone calls, they didn't play through the actual audio of what he would be saying. It was just Bob Clark off, and him. It was, and he would never say as nearly as bad of things of what the guy would be saying. Yeah. So it's kind of shot because every time, but it really works out because every time the actresses are hearing it, they're just kind of stunned. They don't really know how to react at all. And I think that's a realistic portrayal of someone that calls you and starts yelling insane things. You're not going to start screaming or whatever. You're just going to be kind of shocked by it and be just weirded out and kind of hang up. So I think that was a good choice not to play in the real audio.
Yeah.
Because you'd be fucking horrified. It'd be impossible to hide that fear.
Oh, for sure, dude. Some of the things he was saying was disgusting.
Yeah. He's a sick man. I don't know what his deal was.
You got to lock that guy up. You got to find him first.
Well,
he's in the attic.
He's locked up in that?
Yeah, he's in the attic. Just, yeah.
Do you think he just lives there now?
I think he does. I think he's a current, yeah.
There should have been one scene of him going down and, like, going through the kitchen or whatever, because he's got to be eating.
Oh, he's got to eat something.
He's been up there for weeks.
He has been quite a while, but he's a little snake, bro. He's as quiet as a mouse.
He is.
But it's not Santa Claus.
And shitting as well. He's got to be shitting up there.
He is shitting and pissing up there. Unfortunately.
He's a sick man. I do forget that.
He just dumps the bucket out the window every so often. Why do we constantly have shit on our front porch?
No idea.
No idea. The birds. The birds.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like it. If you haven't seen Black Christmas, I would recommend it. It's a fun alternative holiday film.
Yeah, it's fun. It's an hour and a half, too. It's really fast. You know, it's not this 2 hour. I thought everything that was in the film needed to be in the film to, you know, put the story together. So I liked it.
Yeah, it's cool to go back and see where every other slasher got its, you know,
its start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, the OG slasher is what I call it. But yeah, but man, do they up slashers after this one?
Yes, they do.
I mean, they a lot more kills, a lot more nudity.
I'd say the peak of it was like early 2000s with The Hills Have Eyes, the remaking of the Chainsaw
this film itself
Massacres.
has been remade two times after this.
It has. One in 2006 and one in 19.
Yeah, which is not that far
apart.
But 2006 was the time when they were remaking every slasher. They just couldn't buy up enough properties. Yeah. And it was mostly fucking Michael Bay, Platinum Dunes, making all of these.
It's so disappointing that that's what we see so much in Hollywood now. It's just so many rehashings of these same stories. It's like, we need more original content.
But they are never as good as the original.
The remakes.
Yeah, the remakes. Yes. They're never, I mean, no matter what. I don't get why they do it, but because it's easy and cheap and
it's easy
just
money.
Recycle.
Name recognition, branding.
But they never keep the same spirit of the original. They get rid of everything else.
Just use the title.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I heard happen with, I have not seen it, but that's what I heard happen with Wrong Turn. Because someone was...
I told you Wrong Turn sucked.
Yeah, but I talked to... I want to say it was Braden watched it. Braden or Joey. And he was like, bro, Wrong Turn was awful. I think it was Joey.
Well, the original Wrong Turn is like nothing like greatest film of all time. But yeah, they completely changed the story for some fucking reason. Yeah. And I've seen the 2006 remake of Black Christmas. It's shit.
Really?
Yeah. It's exactly what you expect.
I'm assuming 2019 would be just as bad.
I can't imagine. Yeah. But this is a film where I feel like you could do a remake and be successful if you kind of kept the same spirit like they did for the new Halloween.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tough now with, I mean, cell phones kind of take out a lot of these.
No, yeah. If you're going to remake this, remake it in 1974. I mean, to have that be said. All horror films are better when you don't have cell phones or anything like that. If I was going to make a horror film, I'd make it in 1991.
Oh, let's go.
When beepers were the only thing. Good luck trying to fucking type in on a beeper. God help me. Someone's after me.
Just a bunch of U's, C's, and K's.
Your dad getting it. I got nothing on.
I don't know what this
I don't
is.
have a signal on my beep.
No,
I
I can't do it. I can't help. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
No, the 2006 Black Christmas got 15%, and then the 2019 one, do you think it's better or worse?
Better.
Yeah, Imogen Poots starring in that.
Wow.
39%.
Oh my God. Yeah. Much
better.
Yeah.
So much better. Glad they made those remakes.
This one, I think it's sitting at a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I think it's right around there. Yeah, like 70. Let's see.
It's really good for a slasher film.
Yeah, about 71%.
Oh yeah, that's
really good for a slasher.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, I'd recommend it, and it's playing on Peacock.
It is Peacock. That's why I watched it too for free. Can't beat free.
You can't beat free. I don't know why it's on Peacock, but I don't ask questions of why things streaming on anything anymore.
Just watch it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that is our review for Black Christmas. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. Until next time.
Bye.